dancing just flex. Real flag boss, you know what just flex. Keep your
Yes, so bless up, good night, Jenko people. So come go now look at update. So is there money, music and murder? Is there a link between music and violence, gang activity and murder? It is a consideration that is not new. For the last 40 years, it has been a question that has come up often, too often actually. But is there really a link in any true sense of the word, or is just judgment based on ambient circumstances that exist? In other words, because we lived in a violent gang-dominated environment, do we blame the persons who sing about it? Maybe. Firstly, why and how do songs get created by artists? Well, there is a dominant presence of violent lyrics in both Jamaican dancehall and North American rap music. Why do they sing of gangs and violence? This occurs mainly because their music is the music form in the inner city in both cultures. The market they are performing to can identify with what they sing about. If they sang of rodeos, their market would be somewhat confused. This is not limited to dancehall or rap though. Country westerns musicians sing of gunfights. Remember Marty Robbins, Big Iron and El Paso. These included lyrics about domestic killings, murderous posses and fatal shootings. I can just see Terence Bent in A Cowboy Hat Now, Smile. There is also John Jones, Delilah, which spoke of man killing his lover in jealous fit. Can you imagine trying this now with the Number Me Too movement in existence? They would have condemned the song, and frankly, they would have been right. With all of this, there is history of violence in music in general, although it is only dancehall and rap that get the criticism. Could it be just a knee-jerk reaction to the content? I can recall a response to Bunty's Killer song, Look Into My Eyes. He really got a figurative punch in the gut from the press and society in general, who argued that he was justifying violence and robbery committed by young gangsters because of his lyric. You've got to rob and kill. However, 2 decades later, the line that is remembered and analyzed by thinkers is Look Into My Home, Would You Live In There? This to me should be considered a ballad of process of real cause of crime. The dichotomy that exists in our society with respect to how the different groups live. Let's go further back in history of Bob Marley's I Shot the Sheriff. It was before my time, so I can speak of public response personally, and the real history of this era does not speak of it. But interviews with sound system icon and pioneer Vin Edwards, who owned the operated King Edwards Hi-Fi at the time when this song was released, revealed that the song was not appreciated by law enforcement or the upper echelons of society. I will take this position. The lyrics of both dancehall and rap have historically glorified gang affiliation and activity, but I see change. I look at songs like Reasoning by Busy Signal. This song depicts a conversation between the artist and an inner city friend from his childhood. However, although the friend speaks of guns, domestic violence and gang war, he is discouraging and in fact condemning such activities. He is also portrayed as a successful person in the conversation and the video, and thus as a person who is likely to be emulated. This is not an isolated effort. Several artists in both rap and dancehall circles have done similar songs. The sad reality, however, is the affiliation between gangs and popular artists, not in song but in actual membership and leadership. This is where the relationship becomes tangled. Artists earn lots of money and have often looked at the funding arm of gangs. What is of even greater concern is that the gangs with which some artists are affiliated were allegedly formed by them. For instance, there was no Gaza before Vybz Kartel. The number of popular artists arrested, charged and even convicted is a matter for concern, as the offences are the gun or gang related. Furthermore, of the top 5 most popular artists in dancehall history, 2, Adidja Palmer, Vybz Kartel and Desmond Valentine, Ninja Man, have been convicted of gun gang related activity. I can understand but not justify artists being forced into gangs because of the wholesale harassment, abuse and extortion they are subject to. But there is no excuse to use their newly acquired wealth to build gangs that prey on the very society which created the opportunity for their wealth. I don't accept the inner city excuse for this. Many of our great rocksteady artists, including the greatest of them all, Ken Boothe, came from Western Kingston, and they did not sing songs glorifying violence or create gangs. Yet Demontown has been a violent place for a long time. The change in violent lyrics has begun, largely because of a strong press, stage shows, sponsors and activism by rights groups. What I want to see now is a similar rejection of artists who are criminally charged for violent crimes, to include domestic violence. Only when their money is affected will they alter their behavior. You also have a responsibility to manage your image. If you are constantly associated with violence and death, but prudent for responsible corporate entities to be sponsoring the shows on which you appear, it is not enough that you conduct yourself responsibly on that stage, but then appear in the news for being in a club brawl or leading a gang. I can actually recall the Gaza gang and lynch mob leaders, both artists, Vybz Kartel and Mikey Taylor, on the front page of the Star as coming to a gang choose after several persons had been killed and appearing weeks later on a massive stage show sponsored by a major supplier of a popular product. This just doesn't feel right. This is not violent lyrics glorifying murder. This is actual violence involving murder. So in the same way the members of the Corporate Jamaica have stood their ground on the issue of homophobic and violent lyrics, they should extend their stance to persons whose image is representative in violence of any form. To the artists who have changed, thank you. For the rest who persist, let's starve them out of a gang activity. It may actually keep them from sharing a cell with Palmer or Valentine or a plot with Panhead, Nitty-Gritty or Bogle. So bless up on my viewers, subscribers. Not even keep up on the time. Well, I that go on pan Just Flex. Let's come tell you so. It's really truly music powerful behind all of this murder where I go on. Because more some murder go on, you listen to some song, you have to really want if the man them go do the crime, really sit down and listen to the song them still, you know. But yeah, I'm a viewer, subscribers, I like for you to comment where you feel. You do what I say? Because for the last 40 years this has come up often and often. You see me where people say, I wonder for the music the man them hear a busting that they made when them smoke the weed and drink the liquor. You see what I say? But you don't know how your subscribers are Just Flex, not even keep up the time because I don't keep up whole heap of minutes already. Peace, enjoy the rest of the night, and we are out. Zin, bless up.